If you're here, you're probably curious about moving a database from Planetscale over to TiDB Serverless, or maybe you're just exploring new database options. In any case, I'm going to walk you through the why and how of this migration. We'll also talk about the key differences between Planetscale and TiDB, then dive straight into the steps to get your data moved over with minimal fuss. And if you got questions or get stuck, make sure to drop a comment below or join our Discord community, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So, why even consider moving away from Planetscale? Here are a few reasons why. Number one, cost. Planetscale's new billing tiers might not fit everyone's budget. For example, if you're using a PS40 cluster for your main production branch, which is $99 per month, and two PS20 clusters for additional branches, which is $59 each, your total cost would be $217 per month. Yes, $217. Now, in contrast, TiDB Serverless starts at $0 per month and no credit card required, offering 25 gigabytes of row storage, 25 gigabytes of column storage, and 250 million request units free per month for each organization. Now, beyond that, it's 20 cents per gigabyte of storage and 10 cents per million RUs. And this pay-as-you-go model allows you to scale costs directly with your usage, often resulting in significant savings. Number two, MySQL compatibility. TiDB Serverless is fully MySQL compatible, ensuring your existing SQL queries and tools will work with minimal changes. Now, a notable example is foreign keys, which are not natively supported in Planetscale. While Planetscale does offer a workaround for foreign key constraints, TiDB Serverless provides full native support, allowing you to enforce referential integrity seamlessly between tables. Third, distributed and scalable. TiDB Serverless handles read and write scaling behind the scenes. No single primary node to bottleneck. And I really think that this can make life a lot easier when traffic surges. And number four, online DDL. If you hate scheduling maintenance windows for schema changes, TiDB lets you do that online. And last but not least, number five, we have a ton of rich developer-friendly features. For example, you get vector search, branching like Git for databases, and more. Perfect if you're building AI or advanced analytics. But enough about reasons. Let's actually do it. I'll show you how to migrate step by step in this tutorial. Let's go. Okay, so migrating from Planetscale to TiDB Serverless basically boils down to two big steps. First of all, it's number one, dumping your Planetscale data into your local machine, in this case, into my Mac. And then secondly, import that dump into TiDB Serverless. We'll also do a little verification like checking the tables just to make sure everything actually migrated over to TiDB Serverless. But first, let's start with dumping your Planetscale data. So first of all, you need to be on the Planetscale website logged in looking at your database. Now, once you get to your dashboard on Planetscale, at the top right corner, all you need to do is simply click connect. And if you don't know your password, if necessary, go ahead and create a password. In this case, I'm going to create my password on here, and you will see all my info here. That's fine because all of this will be deleted after this video goes live. So this is the password, username, password. And then we're going to go ahead and select MySQL CLI since we're migrating MySQL databases. And then we're simply going to click copy here. And let's actually paste it into your terminal, to our terminal, my terminal. I'm gonna go ahead and click enter. Boom. There you go. So we see that we are now connected to my database, MyDB database on Planetscale. And to make sure I'm actually connected, I'm just gonna type in show tables to see the tables that are there. So we have two tables in here. We have an actor and users table. So there's not that much data on here. So I'll do select all from actor, just so we can see the data in here. So these are lists of actors, and then exact same thing, but users this time. Now that we verified the data in our tables, what we want to do next is actually install the pscale CLI. Now, if you haven't done that yet, we'll go ahead and do this together. If you're using a Mac, to install the pscale CLI, you simply need to type in brew install Planetscale tap pscale. I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter here. And if you are using Windows or Linux, you can go ahead and check Planetscale's docs for installation steps. Now on Windows, Pscale is available via Scoop and as a downloadable binary from the releases page, right? So make sure you check it out. I'll put a link in the description below for you to help you out a little bit in that regard. Now, next, what we want to do is actually log into Pscale. Simply type in Pscale off login, enter. And then you'll have to confirm the code, make sure the code is exactly the same. It looks good to me. Boom. Now we can confirm that we have access to our database via Pscale. Okay, now next we're going to go ahead and dump our database. So how do we do that? We'll use the following command: Pscale database. Oh, it's already on here. Dump MyDB main. Why MyDB? Because that's the name of my database, right? MyDB name. And hit enter. We'll wait for that to dump all of our data. Dumping is finished. Let's go ahead and actually verify though that the files are actually in here. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. I'm going to do ls. Boom. You know what? Let's just do cd. Let's make sure we're actually in there already. And so we are in this folder where we dumped our data. And in here, you'll see our schema and our number secret files for both actors and users. Cool. So that's all for the dump. Now, once you've got those SQL files on your machine, let's move toward the next part, which is creating a TiDB Serverless cluster. So to do that, you need to go to tidbcloud.com. I'll put a link in the description below and log in and create your account. In this case, I am already logged in. And to create your first cluster, you'll have some clusters that already exist, but let's just start from scratch. To create your first cluster, you simply need to click create cluster. And on here, actually, let me just make this a little larger for now, make it easier. So on here, you'll see two different tiers. Let's see a serverless tier and a dedicated tier. We're going to use a serverless tier. And then of course you want to choose the closest region to you. I am on the West Coast of the United States. So Oregon will be closer to me, and the East Coast of North Virginia. And we also have Tokyo, Singapore, and Frankfurt for anyone who lives around those different regions. And then we'll give ourselves our own cluster name. For me, I'm just going to name this Chris Cluster. There you go. So Chris Cluster. Now, one thing I love about TiDB Serverless is that we offer two different cluster plans. Number one, we have the free cluster plan, and number two, scalable cluster plan. What I love about the first cluster, free cluster, is that number one, no credit card required, and we include 5 gigabytes of storage and 50 million request units, which is, I think, honestly more than ideal for small scale applications. And then whenever you need to upgrade, just upgrade to a scalable cluster anytime you need. Now, other than that, let's go ahead and let's click create. Now, this might take some time, so as soon as it's ready, we'll continue with the video. Perfect. Now, our first cluster has been created, but now let's use that first cluster. How do we migrate our data from the dump on our local machine to TiDB? So we'll go ahead and click connect in the top right corner. Right, this is all of your information. You want to make sure that you save this for the future, and we're going to go ahead and click generate password. Now, here next to connect with on the drop down menu where it says general, click on that. Because we're migrating data from a MySQL database on Planetscale, we're going to use MySQL CLI. Amazing. And then this will be our string that we'll be using for the remaining duration of this video. Make sure you don't close this just yet. Just leave this out. Now it's time to feed our Planetscale dump this data into TiDB. So how do we do this? You have to, number one, first make sure you actually cd into this folder, which I have already done. And what we want to do next is loop over these schema files, right? Rather than making modifications to both of them manually, let's do a for loop to do it for us, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's type in that for loop. By the way, to make your life a little bit easier, I'll leave all these commands in the blog and the link description below, so you don't have to type all this out for yourself. So let's go ahead. I'm going to paste this command in here. Again, that command will be in the link description below within the blog. Then we're going to go ahead and copy this string, paste it in here. And then we want to make sure that we close the string. Boom, and then done. Now, during this process, you might run into this error related to the unsupported AICI collation. If you did run into this problem, first of all, don't worry. There's a very simple fix for this. I want to first explain why it happens and how to fix it before we actually proceed. Number one, why does this happen? Planetscale uses MySQL 8.0, which supports the UTF-8 MB4 0900 AI CI collation. Now, TiDB as of now does not support this collation. Instead, it supports other UTF-8 MB4 collations such as the general CI collation. Now, what is the solution? What we need to do is modify the schema SQL files to replace the unsupported collation files with a supported one, such as the general CI collation. How do we do that? Let's go ahead and run the following loop in our terminal to automatically replace the collation in all schema right here, SQL files. Run this loop in our terminal to automatically replace the collation in all of our schema SQL files. Again, this command will be in the blog in the link below. So I hit enter. Amazing. So that works. Now what this does is this actually loops through all the schema SQL files and replaces every occurrence of the 0900 AICI with the general CI collation. So if you encounter this error and apply the same fix that I just shared with you by modifying the files, we now need to rerun the command to insert the data into TiDB. So we'll go ahead and rerun this for loop, hit enter. There shouldn't be any problems with this. Amazing. So this should be good to go. Next, we actually want to do the exact same thing we did for our schema SQL files, but actually do it for our number SQL files. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. I'm simply just going to go ahead and paste this previous string. I'm going to delete this and actually type in ./*.0001 and this should work. Oops, I just realized I put only 3 zeros, not 4. So let's go ahead and fix this. Hit enter. There you go. Good to go. Last but not least, we want to verify our data. And how do we do that? You can do that by running this string, again, in this area, copy the string, that's why I left it out here, paste it into your terminal to connect directly with your TiDB Serverless database. And again, remember on here, we had all this data. Let me just type it in here again, show tables. Right, these tables, we had an actor table and a users table. Let's now make sure that this was actually migrated to our TiDB Serverless database. So simply type in show tables. Amazing. Okay, and then select star from actor. All the actors are here, and exact same thing for users. Boom. All the users are here as well. And that is it. Your Planetscale data is now sitting happily in TiDB Serverless. And that's a wrap. We've successfully migrated data from Planetscale to TiDB Serverless, step by step without too much hassle. Whether you're looking for free usage tiers, more flexible scalability, or advanced features like AI-ready queries, TiDB Serverless could be an excellent fit. If you run into any issues or have follow-up questions, drop them in the comments below or hit up our Discord. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.